Do you love the Tabernacle Choir? This year, the choir's music is everywhere you are. Listen to your favorite choir songs and music and the spoken word anytime you want on Alexa by simply enabling the skill.
Alexa, play music in the spoken word.
Now playing music in the spoken word.
You can also download the Tabernacle Choir app, subscribe to the choir on YouTube, listen on Spotify, and have access to all their wonderful music. Happy listening.
Question of the morning, hot takes or toast? Why do players have to announce they're re-signing with the school they are from? How come we just can't assume you're staying like we always used to assume, PK? Why does this have to be such big news? Hector, to show they got more money to stay.
I don't know that every
David.
decision is money. I can't say that. Every single one, every last one is just I'm going to take the most money no matter what.
David says everyone's seeking attention. It's a look-at-me attitude. Clinton thinks it's attention-seeking, a generation raised on likes and social media.
Is it
A
the
factor?
individual or is it the school putting it out?
Oh, see, I do think the school wants it out there. Chris says it can settle the nerves of fans and boosters. And does it help the coach? Because now they can recruit to these, hey, we got this player back, we got that player back, we're going to be pretty good. You want to be here. So, yeah, I can see where there could be a little self-interest in the school, whether it's connecting with donors, selling season tickets, getting people to write more NIL checks, or getting a player to come, whether it's a high school player or a transfer.
See, I think that in some cases that you are giving up maybe more money. Let's take the case of Mason Falslev. I don't have specific details, but just follow me here for the sake of argument, right? He could go to – he's a very good player, right? A box score stuffer kind of kid. Across the board, he manages to do well in everything, right? Assists, rebounds, points, blah, blah, blah. And so he's heading into his senior year, I believe, right? So he just finished his junior year, obviously. And so he could probably get more money, fill in the blank. We know who has a lot of money available, right? The Kentuckys of the world. But with him staying through, has he ever had the same coach? Different coaches every year, practically. You know, you hear about the coordinators changing. Like Alex Smith had 7 coordinators in his first 7 years in the NFL. So he stays there, and he is a local kid. And they've had a lot of success. And this past season was a highlight season, justifiably so, for Utah State basketball. You won the league, you won the conference tournament, you won a game, and then you competed against a team that was in the Final Four, right? Excellent season. He's a local young man. He becomes a local hero. So now, I don't know what he's going to do. Does he want to go overseas and play? Maybe he does. But at some point when he's in that community, it's like Jimmer with BYU. You hear Jimmer doing commercials for car dealerships. Yak and I were just talking about it. What was it, last week?
Yep.
Yeah, saying, okay, this guy lives over in Denver. His wife's family is from Denver. So they decide to settle there, right? And then he ends up with Frashilla, who lives down at the Springs where they have the Olympic stuff, so he's involved in the 3-on-3. That came about. But he still has a presence here. We saw it with Ty Detmer for a number of years, being able to do endorsements here, even though he was living down in Texas, right? And so Falslev then can make more money living off his resume at Utah State in the Cache Valley area. Clearly he can. He'll always be a popular figure because he had multiple chances to leave, and with new coaches, you could sort of understand it, but each time he says no. So even if he doesn't get as much money in the long term, it could pad his bank account, and I hope it does for him if that's what he wants.
He literally has had a relationship with all 6 of the coaches they've had over the last 10 years. He was such a big deal in high school. He was getting recruited very early, and Tim Duryea started the recruiting on him. So, yeah, to your point about sticking through all those coaches, he has lasted through every single one, whether it was his high school recruitment. I think he did a year before he went on his mission, then red shirts comes back. So he stuck all of those out. He's an Aggie through and through. and
Yeah.
that'll pay off for him.
And
10,
then that
20, 30
means
years down the road.
something to people. And it means something more than ever.
Yes,
You can
it's always,
say that
It's always
now.
meant something. It's always meant something,
Yeah.
but there's just so few of those guys. And actually, with Templin, now they'll have two of them. Now, the difference is Templin is from Texas, so I
Right.
don't know if he's going to settle in the Cache Valley. He could.
If he's
We'll
smart,
see
he
how that
will.
plays out. Yeah, right. We've seen athletes go. And it doesn't matter, pro, college, wherever have your most success, right?
Yeah.
Daryl Griffith went back to Louisville. He had more success there than he had with the Jazz.
Oh, yeah, won an NCAA title, I believe, right? So
Pace and Thurl are here. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he won the
Yeah.
NCAA title. Pace and Thurl are here. So, yeah. Mark Eaton stayed here. There's another guy.
it's just a smart decision, and you like to see it in the current climate, having him do that. And he could make more money. So it is funny, though, that they have to put out re-signed, which just indicates, by using the word re-signed, that also indicates that we're in a new world. Because it's not, you don't have to,
Yeah.
you didn't have to re-sign, but here saying your re-sign takes on a pro meaning. And that's the way it is now. So it should be re-sign, because it is, in very real sense, a professional agreement, basically.
Alex says, I don't know why they do it, but as an Aggie fan, Mason and Carson are coming back for their final years. I couldn't be happier.
If I'm
So
an Aggie
there's
fan,
another
I
reason they want it
agree.
done. Yeah. You're right. It generates enthusiasm in the fan base, so anything you can do in the offseason to do that, well, of course do that. Keep that team front and center, because
And
you're
it
still out there
seems
recruiting, you're still out there raising money.
So innocent and pure in a world, in a sport where innocence and purity don't exist that much.
They're out the window.
Yeah.
Russell, college sports is whack, and it's starting to turn people away,
Except,
but not at the schools that are winning.
but the
Just at the schools that are losing.
the metrics don't indicate that that's true. Right now. Can I say it's the same in 5, 10, 15, 20 years? No. But right now, it seems to be that the angst, which is there, is not something that is having such a negative effect.
And there are many effects. Like, this is one new thing, but teams draw for different reasons. You were just talking in the last segment about how you heard, I don't know where, MLB Network or MLB Radio or somewhere. They were talking about, is baseball really going to work? They had a big crowd in Tampa and the stadium, and they put the new roof on and all that. But could it really become San Diego? I'm like, well, San Diego's attendance spiked, and there were two things that happened because everything around the Padres changed. One, the ownership decided to spend a lot of money on the team. Nobody in Tampa Bay has decided to do that. That excited the people. It was partly bringing guys in, but it was partly paying the guys who were there so they didn't leave. And the second thing is the NFL team left, so all of the energy surges into the baseball team as they spend this money. Well, the Rays in Tampa Bay are still competing with an NFL team. The Bucks are right there. And that takes a lot of time, a lot of interest, and a lot of cash. Oddly, I happen to know a Tampa Bay Bucks season ticket holder, and they bill them 12 months out of the year. It's just always on your credit card. Your ticket price is spread out, and you're paying in advance, and it's just the way it is. So there's way more competition. Don't we see that with some schools? You know, how much is your school winning? Is your school good at football? Are you in the shadow of pro teams, or are you away from them? If there are pro teams, they play a different season. I mean, when we do see empty stands, there are other reasons other than NIL. It doesn't necessarily have to come down to, hey, there's these new rules and players are getting paid out in the open, going through the front door, not the back door, as one coach told us.
Yeah, but I think it boils
So I don't know if
down
you can put it even
it boils down to winning.
win.
And winning is what it's about.
BYU and Utah State go to the NCAA tournament, and their buildings are packed. Utah State's nowhere near the NCAA tournament. Their building is empty.
Yeah, you mean Utah, but
You can
if you win, people show up. It's really not that complicated. You have to find ways to win.
Where are the winners who are drawing poorly?
In the college game, I don't know. Stanford maybe when they were winning. But I'd have to go back and check because they had a great run there for a while, and it's been a few years now that they haven't, and they have pathetic attendance. So I mean, you could argue that they the people aren't sports oriented there. They go to Stanford, and you have to hit the books, and they're interested in their engineering or nuclear science or whatever stuff that I couldn't even sniff a passing grade in, and the community hasn't rallied around it. So, that's maybe a pro area as opposed to a college area. But I still think if you win, you're probably going to be okay, and there's going to be interest, and that's going to lead to more interest. Strong interest only does one thing. It leads to stronger interest. And you're seeing it with BYU, that we had a number of people complain about them raising the ticket prices as if they're supposed to be different. I mean, there's church leaders that they get all caught up and they have to wear suits wherever they go, and they want to tell you that they're different. And to a degree, they are different. But there's also way more similarities with everybody else than some of these BYU folks would like to admit. And jacking up the ticket prices is one of them, right?
Similarity.
And they should jack them up. If supply and demand, that's the great deal in this country. If I can get X amount of dollars, if people are going to pay them, and apparently people are paying them, will you expect BYU to lower the prices just because they're different? No. If they lower the prices because they're different, they wouldn't be different. They'd be stupid.
And there's somebody standing in line just in case someone doesn't renew for whatever reason. Can't afford it, doesn't want to pay it.
Yeah.
Moves to the East Coast, whatever it is. There's someone else to plug in there. The building will be full next season.
Yeah, and in football, yeah. I mean, you can argue for the Cougars right now, the combo of the two sports, all-time high.
Yeah, I can see why you would say that. I mean, the only thing to compare, maybe Lavelle probably was going 11-1 about the time Danny Ainge was going through Notre Dame. Be the only thing close.
Yeah, I assume there was then. And at that point, the Jazz weren't very good. And so there wasn't a lot of attention directed toward them.
Right.
But that might as well have been 500 years ago. And how much has changed now.
Yeah, it was 45 years ago.
Yeah.
It was a long time ago.
Right. And the Jazz had not had anything close to a stronghold that they have now. So, and away we go. And the area, too, has grown. So there's more people, more with the internet and the opportunity to develop businesses, more entrepreneurs there. We used to call it quarterback U. I always call it entrepreneur U. But I would never write it because I can't spell entrepreneur. That's impossible to spell. I mean, you have no idea how to spell that one. So with that in mind, there's so much more available. And so we hear that things are going down and interest. And to a degree, some people. But, you also get a new breed of people who don't know anything else. And this is what they've been brought up with. Kenny Dillingham talks about that all the time. If you don't like it, that's on you, because this is the way it's going. Even while he says in the next breath, as Kyle says, this can't continue the way it is. But I got two guys. I got one guy at the end and one guy just starting, right? There's a 30-year difference between those two guys in age, right? But yet they both have the same approach and say virtually the same thing. Oh, this can't continue at this pace. The old guy says it, the young guy says it. Meanwhile, they're diving full speed ahead, even though they know it can't continue. But rather than sit there and whine about it, you got to make the best of it. So when they're in the reflective mood, they say it. But when they're in the actual day-to-day thing, it's roll up the sleeves and deal with it and put the best product that you can put out on the field or court. That's the only way to approach it.
It's like watching marathoners and they're sprinting. We can't keep this up, but I'm afraid to let the pack break away, so I'm going to keep sprinting.
Yeah.
What will that mean a mile from now? I don't know. I might run out of gas, but I better not slow down now because these guys will disappear over the hill.
And I actually enjoy the philosophical discussions and conversations that both of those guys have because it's real interesting. Older, younger. One, not to say he's this year, but obviously he's got way fewer years ahead of him than he does behind him. And it's the other way around with Dillingham. He's got way more years ahead of him than he's already had, and they say the same stuff. And that, to me, that when I listen to both of those guys talk like that, that brings tons of credibility because they're not whining about it. They're not saying, this is why I can't win. No, you don't ever hear that out of either of those guys. They're just telling it like it is while trying to get the money to be able to field the most competitive team possible. So that has tons of credibility in my mind because it's not making excuses. Neither one of them ever make excuses about winning or losing, right? They say, this is what happened. Here's why we won. Here's why we lost. And on the other tone, when it's in a midweek deal or what have you, they'll tell you this is a crazy pace and there's got to be some changes.
It reminds me of Majerus 25 years ago complaining about conference basketball teams.
Yeah, I thought about bringing that
terrible.
up, but I didn't want to bring that up. That was
I know,
30
but-
years ago.
But it's if you're going to complain when you win. It carries more, or not complain.
But they're not
at least
complaining. That's the point.
Say the negative, but say the negative when you're
Well, they're
winning.
telling it like it
The
is.
system-
If it's negative,
Yeah.
so be it.
But if you're losing at that point, then it can sound like complaining.
Well, it's an excuse.
Yeah.
And fans don't want to hear excuses.
But if it's teams that are near the top of the league, then they can say it.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle said it when he was 5-7, and he said it when they were 11-2.
11-2.
And so nothing has changed. So that means it's real. And it has turned some people off, but nevertheless, away they go.
But can it sustain it? And really, when we hear them say that it can't be sustained, is that because it's changing so fast, it's hard for them to, the expression, wrap your mind around it?
Well, I don't think it's changing fast anymore. I think that this is the system. It's just the money's going up.
And they got to raise more of it.
Yeah.
And how are they going to do that? And they don't know, but just go out and try to raise it today, and then go out and try to raise it tomorrow.
Right. This
Go out
is
and
the
raise it the
system.
day after.
The system is here. The system isn't really changing last year to this year, right?
No, they just do their tweaks about when a window opens or how long it opens.
Yeah, and
blah,
that's
blah, blah.
cosmetic.
But it's still, kids are still transferring, and kids are getting a lot of money plus 10
And
or
we're having
20%.
X amount, hundreds or thousands. And so that has been the reality now for a few years. So here's the system. And fans say it's turning me off. And individually, there's no doubt about it. It has. I mean, it's not turned me off, but and I'm already jaded to begin with. I've been jaded since about 2 hours into this existence we call life. And here we are. I'm more jaded, right? My jadedness is basically, who's Texas Tech going to play in the conference title game in football? That's jaded.
They're not getting left out.
And the reason why we're going that way is not completely, but largely cash. Good for them.
But, yeah. You have to have good people and spend it wisely, but you better have the cash. And they do. And they apparently have some people who know what they're doing doling it out. So they're getting it to the right guys, getting it to the high draft picks.